In landscapes where the distance between species is measured in mere strides, a single movement can trigger a rapid chain reaction, escalating the situation into a confrontation. As tension mounts, the predator dictates the timing, positioning, and pace to seize a fleeting advantage. What then truly determines which side retains control in the end? Across the vast African grasslands, African wild dogs operate in open terrain, requiring space to run and coordinate their hunts. Avoiding dense vegetation, they rely on clear sight lines and constant movement to assess the situation, maintaining their formation as they transition into the pursuit phase. When a warthog dives into a burrow, the pack immediately positions itself around the entrance, keeping a safe distance while controlling the area. One group applies pressure, while another blocks potential escape routes. As the space becomes restricted, the warthog is forced to bolt. The pack instantly accelerates, closing the distance and tightening the encirclement. Cornered and disoriented, the warthog loses its sense of direction and cannot break free. The dogs take turns moving in, maintaining relentless pressure until the animal is no longer capable of resistance, sealing its fate. In the rugged, mountainous regions of Africa, leopards are widely distributed and well adapted to environments featuring high vantage points. Weighing between 30 and 90 kilograms and possessing dense musculature and powerful jaws, they are capable of swiftly subduing prey at close range. Their exceptional climbing ability allows them to maintain a safe distance while gaining a tactical advantage against threats from the ground. Aware of this advantage, the pack of wild dogs does not rush in. Instead, they maintain their distance and monitor the leopard from multiple directions. Once they close the gap to striking range, they accelerate in unison, applying relentless pressure to force the leopard from its position. Upon touching the ground, the encounter shifts into a chase, rapidly shrinking the leopard's safety zone. Having lost its initial position, the leopard moves to relocate and relieve the pressure. It quickly ascends to a new high point, while the pack halts below. The encounter concludes with the leopard successfully maintaining a safe distance. On the open grasslands, zebra herds remain constantly vigilant, with at least one individual keeping watch over the surroundings. Their quick reflexes allow the entire herd to move instantly at the first sign of anything unusual. Capable of reaching speeds of around 65 kilometers per hour with rapid short-burst acceleration and strong endurance, they typically maintain a safe distance from predators until their formation is disrupted. Seizing this moment, the pride of lions does not approach from a single direction, but fans out to control multiple positions. When the herd's movement becomes disorganized, one zebra becomes separated from the main group. Once within striking distance, the lions accelerate simultaneously, closing in from multiple sides and applying relentless pressure to prevent their prey from rejoining the herd. Isolated, the zebra cannot maintain its speed and gradually loses the ability to resist. The lions hold their positions and control the animal's movements until it comes to a halt. The outcome is sealed, and the prey provides the essential energy needed to sustain the entire pride. Across the vast grasslands of sub-Saharan Africa, hyenas move in groups through open terrain that offers almost no cover. While a top speed of around 60 kilometers per hour allows for quick reactions, their standout advantage is the stamina to sustain long-distance movement. This enables them to maintain a stable formation, ready to adjust to changing circumstances and prepare for potential confrontations. Amidst this state of readiness with the clan dispersed around a food source, a male lion approaches closely before suddenly accelerating. He manages to pin down one individual for a few seconds. However, the other hyenas immediately circle back, constantly closing in. Faced with mounting pressure from multiple directions, the lion loses his stable footing and is forced to shift from an offensive to a defensive stance. As he becomes surrounded, the lion gradually loses control of the situation. The hyena that had been pinned breaks free and quickly rejoins the pack, while the pressure is maintained for a brief moment longer. The encounter concludes with the lion pausing to observe the scene, while the hyena clan retreats safely, maintaining their balance within this competitive environment. Across vast savannas, wildebeests inhabit areas near rivers and lakes, where water sources dictate their seasonal migrations. The open terrain, offering little cover, compels them to remain constantly on the move and maintain keen vigilance. They gather in massive herds ranging from hundreds to millions, and rarely stand still. As they approach a river, the crowding intensifies. The chaos at the river crossing creates a prime opportunity. A crocodile moves slowly through the water, keeping its body low and approaching with the current. Once within striking distance, it accelerates suddenly to attack a wildebeest that has lost its balance midstream. Its jaws snap shut, clamping onto the animal and dragging it off its original path. In the water, the wildebeest cannot maintain the speed it possesses on land. The crocodile exploits its leverage and positioning to gain total control. The wildebeest is held submerged and unable to break free. The outcome favors the crocodile as it maintains its grip. This sequence demonstrates that at the interface of land and water, mass migration carries significant risk, while the crocodile requires only a fleeting moment to seize complete control of the situation. Across the African savanna, zebras constantly move between grasslands and water sources, such as rivers and lakes, to survive. The open terrain, devoid of cover, forces them to rely on speed, reflexes, and herd dynamics to minimize risk. Instinct drives them to flee at the first sign of danger. However, as they enter the water, the herd's formation loosens, creating gaps that are difficult to control. As the herd ventures deeper into the current, a zebra fold slows down against the force of the water, losing its position relative to the others. A crocodile, having tracked the group while maintaining a steady distance, waits for the opportune moment. The instant the foal falters in its movement, the crocodile launches a rapid short-range strike, seizing the animal and gaining total control of the situation. Once captured, the foal can neither accelerate nor rejoin the herd. The crocodile uses its weight and pulling power to drag the animal underwater until it ceases to struggle. The outcome is quickly decided, as the crocodile holds the absolute advantage in the aquatic environment. The entire encounter illustrates the high risks inherent in the interface between land and water. While herd movement mitigates danger on land, individuals can still become separated during river crossings. This dynamic ensures a food source for crocodiles and maintains the balance of survival within the ecosystem. In the bush and grassland mosaic of East and Southern Africa, impalas keep their distance from water sources to minimize the risk posed by predators. This environment compels them to remain constantly vigilant and agile while moving through open terrain. Impalas can reach speeds of 80 to 90 kilometers per hour and leap up to 3 meters high and 10 meters across, abilities that offer a brief safety advantage. However, when the herd spreads out and the gap to a predator suddenly closes, the situation turns perilous. High up in the canopy, the leopard holds a steady position, monitoring the herd below and waiting for the right moment. When an impala moves into the perfect spot and momentarily slows down, the leopard drops from above, lands within striking distance, and instantly accelerates. In just a few strides, it closes the gap and locks onto its target, seizing control of the situation. Once the advantage of speed is negated at close range, the impala loses its ability to break free from the predator's grasp. The leopard maintains its hold and body positioning to restrain the prey. In the dry grasslands of Africa, warthogs typically inhabit areas near natural burrows, which serve as shelters and resting spots. Under normal circumstances, they avoid confrontation and move towards safety upon detecting a threat. However, when cornered in a confined space or near a burrow entrance, their behavior shifts towards aggression, creating a situation from which there is often no turning back. From a distance, the leopard observes and tracks the warthog's movements, waiting for the gap to close. Once the warthog loses its clear path of retreat, the leopard launches a rapid, short-range sprint to engage head-on. It maintains constant pressure, restricting the prey's ability to maneuver and quickly bringing the situation under control. At close quarters, the warthog cannot sustain an effective counterattack. The leopard holds its position and controls the prey's movements until it is no longer capable of resistance. The outcome is decisive, and the warthog provides the vital energy needed to sustain the leopard's predatory activities. Across these scenarios, a common theme emerges. The advantage lies not in raw, isolated power, but in the ability to control distance, timing, and the application of sustained pressure. Each species adapts in its own way, whether through ambush, physical attrition, or collective coordination to ensure survival. Amidst constantly changing conditions, the side that ultimately retains control is the one that truly holds the upper hand. On the vast grasslands of Africa, where lions often hold the upper hand, there are moments when the entire hunt collapses with a single misstep, when distance is reduced and the prey reacts faster than anticipated. The predator is forced to retreat at the point of impact. What truly determines the fine line between control and failure in these seemingly certain hunts? In the sub-Saharan African savannas, like Kruger, buffalo herds are widely distributed and migrate seasonally to stay close to water sources. During the dry season, they travel tens of kilometers each day and congregate in the remaining waterholes. This concentration increases the density of contact rapidly, while simultaneously narrowing the reaction space. From this state of concentration, any approach quickly descends to the threshold of direct collision. It is at this threshold of collision that the lions form a formation and press their target towards the center. The distance is tightened step by step, leaving almost no space. As soon as the defensive position is formed, the buffalo charge in from the outside at high speed. The collision occurs instantly, deflecting the entire attack. After the deflection, the buffalo herd surges forward simultaneously, pushing pressure in multiple directions. The lions are separated from their position, unable to maintain their momentum. A single butt kick disrupts their movement, forcing the formation to retreat. Thanks to the brief opening of space, the target escaped the danger zone. From the moment the hunting rhythm was broken, the initiative immediately shifted. Continuous coordination allowed the buffalo herd to control the remaining space. The situation ended decisively. The lions retreated, while the buffalo herd maintained its advantage at the water's edge. In the open savannas and grasslands of the Serengeti, African wild dogs thrive thanks to their long-range vision and unobstructed space. This terrain allows them to spot targets from a great distance and maintain a pursuit formation from the outset. When moving in packs, they maintain a steady rhythm and lock down escape routes. This control of space quickly pushes any approach into direct contact. From that moment of narrowing distance, an old lioness approaches a watering hole and encounters the already positioned pack of wild dogs. The encirclement closes in small steps, the gap diminishing with each movement. In the brief moment before collision, both sides maintain their positions. Immediately afterward, the lioness lunges and holds her target at the edge of the formation. but the entire pack reacts simultaneously from multiple directions, breaking the hold almost instantly. As soon as the hold is broken, waves of harassment ensue, forcing the lioness to constantly change direction. The pressure increased with each passing moment, destabilizing the position. The gap was broken, allowing the target to escape. The lion lost its rhythm and was forced to retreat step by step, eventually leaving the area. When the attack rhythm could no longer be maintained, the initiative no longer belonged to the lone predator. Coordination and continuous pressure allowed the pack of wild dogs to control the space in a short time. The situation ended decisively. The lion failed to achieve its objective, while the pack of wild dogs maintained its formation. On the vast grasslands of Masai Mara, Kenya, hyenas utilize the open space to form packs and control the area from multiple directions. The sparsely populated environment allows them to observe far and move in perfect unison. Packs can number 50 to 80 individuals, with a clear hierarchical structure led by females. This coordination quickly creates concentrated pressure, bringing any approaching lion into direct contact. Upon entering this pressure zone, a lone lion approaches and is immediately spotted by the hyena pack. A cordon forms from multiple directions, gradually narrowing the surrounding space. In the brief moment before collision, both sides maintain their positions. Shortly afterward, the lion lunges and holds its target, but the entire pack reacts simultaneously, applying pressure from all sides and breaking the control almost instantly. As soon as the position was broken, relentless harassment ensued, forcing the lion to constantly shift its position. Pressure increased with each wave, preventing the lion from maintaining stability. The approach from behind further diminished its control. The lion lost its rhythm and was forced to retreat, eventually leaving the encirclement. The attack was broken right within the encirclement, and the initiative immediately slipped from the lion's grasp. The hyena's coordinated and continuous pressure allowed them to control the space in a very short time. The situation closed decisively, and the lion was forced to leave the area at a disadvantage. In the river, lake, and swamp systems of the sub-Saharan region, such as the Okavango, hippos spend most of their day submerged in water to retain heat, coming ashore at night to forage. The transitional zone between water and shore creates mandatory pathways where any movement is easily detected. Their strong territorial instincts cause hippos to react quickly to intrusions. These factors rapidly reduce the distance to a collision threshold. Just as that threshold is reached, the lion is crossing the river and is forced to maintain its course within the current. From below, the hippo closes the distance in a straight line without altering the water's surface. For a brief moment, space is almost still before collision. Then the hippo suddenly lunges forward, forcing the lion to react while off balance. With no safe distance left, one lion immediately turns back toward the shore, while the other two accelerate to escape the water. The pressure from behind caused the direction of movement to constantly change and become unstable. The distance widened rapidly with each stroke, forcing the lion to focus all its energy on escaping. The hippo couldn't maintain its approach point when the lion reached the shore and broke free. This missed approach moment in the water completely changed the situation. The advantage underwater was no longer maintained as the distance widened. The difference between water and shore reversed the situation in a matter of seconds. The outcome was decisive, with the lion escaping and the hippo completely losing control of the situation. Along the rivers of Africa, crocodiles always choose the boundary between water and land as their ambush point. In the Mara River, they can lie still underwater for hours, waiting for herds of antelope to pass. This environment forces prey to approach in an unstable state. This pushes any movement to a dangerous range, where collision can occur in a very short moment. As soon as the lion crosses that water boundary, it moves into the river without noticing the movement below. The crocodile maintains an extremely low position underwater and closes the distance little by little. The surface remains almost unchanged for a few seconds, creating a brief lull. Then, immediately, the crocodile lunges forward, forcing the lion to react in a very tight space. When the safe space disappears, the lion turns and accelerates towards the bank. Its direction of movement changes constantly as pressure closes in from behind. The distance widened quickly, but wasn't safe enough in the first few steps. The crocodile lost its approach point and the opportunity to control the situation. The lion escaped the water shortly afterward. The moment of counterattack changed the entire situation. The advantage was no longer with the crocodile as the distance widened. The difference between water and land quickly reversed the situation. In the end, the lion left the area, and the crocodile failed to achieve its objective. In the Serengeti, Tanzania, herds of wildebeest constantly move with the rain to find fresh grass and water sources. The approximately 1.5 million wildebeest in the Serengeti Mara system form a migration stream that stretches hundreds of miles each year. Not holding fixed territories, they constantly change locations to maintain their living conditions. Their curved, strong horns help maintain close proximity, so any approach is quickly forced into a space that forces confrontation. Within that tightly packed space, lions follow, closing the gap with each movement. A young wildebeest deviates from the protective line, creating a brief gap. The lioness immediately lunges in with decisive force, bringing the entire situation to a point of impact. In an instant, all space is compressed, leaving no clear escape route. When there is no more space, the wildebeest leaps straight through the approaching direction, Maintaining momentum with its entire body, the toss completely deflected the attack, and the kick to the lioness's head broke the momentum of the approach. The lions changed direction repeatedly but couldn't maintain their position. The gap widened in an instant, and the antelope dashed straight toward the shallow water, completely cutting off the pursuit. The moment the rhythm was broken changed the entire course of events. The initiative shifted as the distance widened. The antelope's instantaneous reaction gave it the advantage in those crucial seconds. The situation ended decisively. The ambush failed, and the lions were forced to stop without achieving their objective. Amidst the vast wilderness of North America, grizzly bear attacks don't begin with noise, but with silence and observation that lasts for minutes. In a moment of surprise, a short dash can break through entire distances and change the course of events in seconds. These aren't chaotic hunts, but a series of precise decisions where every small deviation leads to an irreversible end. In the temperate forests interspersed with clearings of North America, a white-tailed deer moves along the edge of the bush near a stream, where the path is clear, but visibility is obscured by low vegetation. It relies on sound and smell to detect danger. But as it enters the transition between forest and grassland, the cover thins, and a brief blind spot appears right in front of it. Hidden in the low-lying vegetation downwind, the grizzly bear doesn't approach directly but cuts across, shortening the distance while the prey moves along its usual path. When the deer changes direction towards the grass, the bear suddenly accelerates at close range, forcing the deer into rough terrain, causing it to lose its balance and momentum in an instant. Opportunities only appear for a few seconds. The grizzly bear closes in and controls the situation before the deer can regain its rhythm. The outcome is determined at the transition point. And in this environment, the advantage belongs to the one who correctly predicts the deer's movement rather than the one who runs faster. In the cold coniferous forests and swamps of Alaska and Canada, a moose moves slowly near the water's edge, where it finds aquatic plants and cools its body during the mild summer. It is large, accustomed to wading through deep water and moving through muddy swamps. But once out of the water, its agility diminishes, and its familiar advantages begin to fade. At that very moment, from the edge of the forest, a grizzly bear silently observed and lowered its body, following at a safe distance. As the prey crossed the damp ground, the bear suddenly accelerated, forcing the deer to turn back to defend itself and disrupting its movement, gradually closing the gap with each step. The confrontation didn't last long. The moose tried to maintain distance, but the slippery terrain reduced its effectiveness. The grizzly bear took advantage of the moment to close in and control the situation. The outcome was decided when the prey could not return to the water, and the tide turned decisively in favor of the predator. In the cold, coniferous forests and grasslands of Alaska, a grizzly bear moves along the streams where salmon appear seasonally, the vast environment forcing it to control territory hundreds of square miles to secure food. And it is that invisible boundary that causes rare encounters to begin to form. When another intruder crosses. From the depths of the forest, another grizzly bear approached. Both stopped, standing upright to display their size, then circled, building pressure. The distance was gradually reduced until it was suddenly broken by a short lunge, shifting from threat to direct confrontation. After a few controlled tug-of-wars, one slowed and retreated, leaving the clear advantage to its opponent. In nature, confrontations rarely last long. They aim to define limits, where strength, size, and timing determine who holds territory and who is forced to leave. Once a clear order is established. In the wide grasslands of Yellowstone and the Rocky Mountains, a moose moves in open space, near streams and rivers, the open terrain helping to maintain a safe distance. It's nearly 5 feet tall at the shoulder, weighs over 700 pounds, migrates seasonally, and relies on its hearing and sense of smell to detect danger. But sparse woodlands disrupt its vision, and even a short gap is enough for danger to approach. At the edge of the forest, an 800-pound grizzly bear appears, following the wind to minimize its scent. It observes, approaches while the deer herd is preoccupied with feeding, then accelerates, causing panic and scattering the herd. A young deer that strays from the group is isolated and quickly subdued, its fate sealed when there is no longer enough distance to escape. In the open environment, distance and timing largely determine the outcome. Patience and choosing the right moment create a clear advantage, highlighting the difference between the prey's vigilance and the predator's calculated approach, where even a small deviation leads to an irreversible end. Amidst the vast, snow-covered landscapes of Yellowstone and the North American taiga forests, a gray wolf moves with its pack through the open terrain, interspersed with woodlands and grasslands, where they are accustomed to hunting large prey and tolerating low temperatures, relying on coordination and distance for survival. But today, the objective has changed as a large food source appears, leading to an inevitable encounter. A grizzly bear, holding its meal, stood still, observing as the pack of wolves fanned out to surround it, circling to apply pressure until the bear suddenly lunged, breaking the wolves' formation, forcing them to scatter and lose their coordination, rendering the approach ineffective and gradually shifting the initiative toward the bear. After a few tense moments, the wolves realized the risk of a direct confrontation with a mature bear and gradually retreated, leaving the bear to continue controlling the food source. In this harsh environment, This outcome demonstrates that the advantage lies with the one who holds its position and reacts at the right time. In the dense forests and mixed woodlands of North America, a black bear moves among large trees and thick bushes, where berries, seeds, and water sources are readily available. It is accustomed to climbing to avoid danger, often choosing wooded areas for hiding. But when it comes down to the ground to forage, that advantage begins to diminish. From deep within its territory, the grizzly bear detected the tracks and approached, not rushing to attack but closing in step by step, creating direct pressure. As the distance shortened, it proactively cornered its opponent towards the dense vegetation, forcing the black bear to choose between confrontation or leaving the area to avoid risk. The confrontation ended quickly, with the black bear choosing to leave the area to avoid risk, gradually retreating from the disputed zone and yielding space to the grizzly bear. In this situation, the outcome did not come from a direct collision, but from forcing the opponent to leave first. Along the frigid rivers of Alaska and the North Pacific, adult salmon return from the ocean after years of living at sea, swimming upstream through shallow, oxygen-rich waters to complete their spawning cycle. This seasonal concentration creates a rare but unavoidable opportunity, as all movement is confined to the narrowest points of the current. Amidst the rushing water, a grizzly bear steps into the river, stands firmly in the middle, and observes the movement below the surface, waiting for salmon to dart through a narrow crevice in the rocks. In an instant, it swings its front paw precisely, creating a surprise catch that leaves the prey no time to change direction, disrupting the rhythm of the school of fish. The hunt is fast and repeated with each movement of the fish school, the grizzly bear maintaining its advantageous position and continuously seizing opportunities. The outcome is determined not by speed, but by patience. And in this environment, the advantage always belongs to the one who understands the laws of the current, when everything has followed an unchangeable trajectory. On the vast grasslands of Yellowstone and Alberta, a bison moves slowly through the open space, where the view stretches for miles and low grass covers the ground. Weighing up to 2,000 pounds, it's accustomed to using its head to push through the snow in winter. But in this wide, unobstructed environment, every movement is easily observed, and a target begins to come into view. From its vantage point on the slope, the grizzly bear observes the herd of bison, waiting for them to move across the incline, maintaining a safe distance to avoid detection. When a young individual falls behind due to an uneven climb, the bear immediately lunges down due to inertia, closing the distance in seconds and creating a surprise advantage before the prey can react. The decisive moment is quick. The young individual attempts to return to the herd, but the distance has already widened. The grizzly bear closes in and controls the situation. The outcome is decided when the prey cannot return to safety, and the advantage is firmly in favor of the bear that seized the opportune moment. Through each encounter, grizzly bears rely not on aggression, but on observation, timing, and exploiting the weaknesses of the environment and their opponents. Each attack is different, but all follow a common principle: controlling distance, controlling movement, and controlling the final decision. And in the wild, the winner is not the strongest, but the one who understands the right time to strike.